turned around and he said to Damian, I'm about to give you the worst diagnosis anyone could possibly give you. You've got motor neuron disease. And Damian said, am I gonna die? And he said, yes. How long? And that's when he said, 18 months to 2.5 years, telling the children. That there is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. When I was, what was I, 15? I would have been 15. I worked at Blockbuster Video. I did not know Damian at all. And apparently he used to come in every Friday night to get a video to chat to me. When I was 17 years of age, I was in the car with a friend and I went in to pay for the fuel. And when I went in there, this was at Caltex, Damian was coming out and I was coming in, the doors opened and we actually ran into each other, so smacked into each other. We apologised. 2 weeks later, we were at the cinemas seeing Legally Blonde. So I walked out of the movies, went downstairs, got my bucket of popcorn, turned around, started walking back and bang, someone's hit me. The popcorn's actually gone flying and I look up and I hear someone say, oh my God, it's you again. Can't believe we've just done this again. 2 weeks after that, we went down, there was car clubbers in Hervey Bay where all the people would sit with their cars. My mate had noticed a friend was there, his car that doesn't live here. So we pulled down and he got out the car and I'm just kind of sitting on the front of the cardboard. I didn't know any of these people. And I hear a voice go, oh my God, it's you again. And I turn around and it was Damian. We started talking. I was really hungry and we couldn't get the car out. So he said, I'll take you, get some Maccas. Had a laugh, had a chat, still sitting there. And then the next day I get this message. It says, hey, it's Damian from last night. How did you get my number? I don't know how he got my number, but he got my number. And that was it. I was cleaning the toilet and my Damian comes in and he says, come out here, come out here. And I'm like, what? I'm cleaning the toilet, I'm cleaning the bathroom. And I come out and he waves this ring box and he goes, oh, so you don't want this? And I'm like, what is this? And next thing you know, he gets down on one knee and proposes, to the point where I even had to remove my rubber gloves. So romantic. But hey, it does show that you don't have to go all out there, because here we are 26 years later. I'll tell you, the bathroom never got finished because I was so excited. You never had a plan? No. I remember being so excited. I've got to go tell my mum, I've got to go tell my best friends. I got in the car and took off and he's like, what about the bathroom? I'm like, who cares about the bathroom? Oh my God. Kids come along, yeah. We got married when I was... Yes, we got engaged. Family were very excited. Family was planning the wedding as they were planning the engagement party because they were all so excited. Well, because our life's always been quite full on, some of my boys have got autism and ASD. Damian actually was hiding some of the signs from me, weren't you, for a bit. He didn't want to stress me out, so he internally kept it in. And like, Damian always worked massive hours, so he was always really tired. I did start to notice that he was getting quite exhausted. I wouldn't say you were slurring your words at that stage, but just like really, you thought he was ran down. I thought he was worn out. And he's like, I don't know, I've just got no energy, nothing. And this is coming from Damian, he's got ADHD, like nothing stops him. And it wasn't until my son's birthday in the August, I hadn't seen my sister for a while. And Damian isn't a drinker or anything like that. Because she hadn't seen him for a while, she actually, after the party had finished, she pulled me aside and said, there's something wrong with Damian, I think he's had a stroke. I said, no, he's just tired. And she said, no. She said, if you didn't know him, you would have thought he was drunk. She said, he's slurring his words, I think he's had a stroke. The next day, I was booking an appointment. I was like, oh my God, righto. I didn't even bring it up to Damian straight away because, you know, it takes a couple of weeks to get into the doctors. And it wasn't until just before we went there, Damian was in the car with me. He was talking to me and I could really tell that he was quite slurry. And he turned around, it was the first time he said something to me about it. And he said, can you hear that? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, can you hear the slurring in my voice? I think there's something wrong. And I said, yeah, I'm waiting to get an appointment because I've picked up on it too. Yeah, so as soon as we got into the appointment, I pushed straight away for an MRI. I thought it was a stroke, so I was pushing, I want MRIs, I want CTs. When they did the scan, they actually found that there was a shadow. And they said, oh, he suffers from migraines, it's that. I didn't settle with that. I thought, no, something's showing up on a scan. I don't wanna, it's probably, no, you're a GP. I want to see a neurologist. We got that within 3 months. I had the worst diagnosis that I was not wanting to hear was motor neuron disease because of Carl Webb and, you know, knowing his story. But when we actually went for the test, the neurologists thought that Damian had an early form of Parkinson's. Like he said, it would be like a sister thingy of Parkinson's. It wasn't even kind of entered into our mind that it was going to be this. I was kind of sitting there contemplating, okay, Parkinson's, you can live for quite a long time, you know. When we sat down in the room, and he's turned around and he said, I'm about to give you the worst diagnosis anyone could possibly give you. He didn't even have to say the words to me then. I knew in my mind, and my heart just sank because I knew what it meant. Damian didn't. So when he turned around and said, you've got motor neuron disease, Damian had no idea what it was. So he turned around and said, oh, okay, what do we do now? What can I take? And then it wasn't until the doctor looked at him and his eyes welled up with tears and he said, no. He said, do you know what this means? And that's when Damian turned and looked at me and I had welled up with tears. And Damian said, oh, this is bad. And he said, yes, it is. And Damian said, am I gonna die? And he said, yes. And then, yeah, he said, how long? And that's when he said, basically 18 months, 18 months to 2.5 years. I held it together. Damian said, what about work? And he turned around and he said, okay, so basically what muscles you have, if you overwork them, once they're gone, they're gone. Your body can't reproduce these muscles. He said you need to stop work immediately. You know, Damian had been a carpenter for 25 years. Our son had just started working with him, just started an apprenticeship 6 months in. Their goal was to have their own business. And Damian had to, quit his job. So not only do you find out, you know, you don't have long to live, but straight away you've got to give up something you've been doing for years. Telling the children that there is the worst and hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Damian took Charlie. He was 8 at the time, fully autistic. He dropped me off. I picked up my mum. I went down and told Damian's grandmother first, and she accompanied me. So I had my mum and Damian's grandmother. I walked in the house, I sat my kids down. Oh, you took Charlie, sorry, yes, you took Charlie for a ride, for a drive. And I went in there and I had to sit Ethan and Lachlan down. So Lachlan was 13, Ethan was 17. And I had to tell them, Daddy's sick and Daddy's dying and he doesn't have long to live.
I'd never even knew that MND was a thing until Dad got diagnosed with it. Everything just got tipped on its head. Everything changed. I knew work was going to change. I knew that was going to be the first thing that would change, and then I didn't think things would go as quickly as they did. Yeah, it changed so much.
My Lachlan, he basically didn't say much about it for weeks. Ethan took off in his room. He was broken, absolutely broken, but extraordinary. They're extraordinary kids.
In the early months, I definitely could have gone about it in better ways. I reckon my way of coping with the whole thing was distancing myself. I was barely ever home. It just got to the point where I sort of just went, distancing myself isn't going to change it. It's just going to make me have regrets on the times that I didn't spend with him. And
the next day, Ethan come into my bedroom, shut the door, and he said, I want you to know I've got you. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, I've got you. He said, you can't raise Charlie alone. You can't raise Lachlan alone. And I just want you to know that I will help you raise the kids. He had just found out the night before, you know, And he's 17, not even 18. And he comes out with that. Nothing can pay you for that.
I used to just be, the oldest kid. So I always just helped out where I can, but now it's pretty much, I feel like it's sort of, as much as it falls on mum, it also falls on my shoulders to keep things going. It's weird because most people my age just sit there and look at it and they're out doing whatever, having fun, not a care in the world. It is what it is, really. I'd rather sit here and be at home and help mum and dad and that and do the stuff that I like than going out and not without a care in the world.
The next day, he got up, we quit the job. We went pretty much 2 days later and organised the will. Damian wanted to make sure that everything was in place so that we could then find a way to find our new normal. There was many appointments. You need nurses straight away, you need therapists straight away. And sadly with the health system here, a lot of them aren't around here. It was constant from the get-go. We had no money either. This was coming straight off of Christmas. And because of my kids and their health medical bills, Damian had always worked 6 days a week. Still, we could barely put food on the table. Damian had only been at work for 5 days before he then had to quit his job. How on earth are we going to do this? And with the wait lists, all of the neurologists and everything, all the testing, it wasn't free. You can say you've got motor neuron disease, but if the wait lists are 2 years long or 1 year long, you can't sit on the public list. We had to find the money to pay for these tests to be done. It was full on, wasn't it? Damian's a very, very shy person, but he's also a selfless person. So there's not a selfish bone in his body. When I say we had no money, within about 2 days of this happening, my sister decided to get on Facebook and start a GoFundMe page. And the community, there's no words. We had no income for about 10 weeks and the community kept us going for 10 weeks. And it was from anything, people rocking up and putting fuel vouchers in our letterbox, food vouchers in our letterbox. I'll never forget that the Pier Markets contacted one of the people we know had a stall down there, and they contacted us and said, the Pier Markets want you to come down this Saturday, be there at 11. And we went down there and they handed us $1,000. And just things like that. Damian used to say, why me? Why are they doing this for me? I'm nobody. I'm no one special. I don't understand it. When you go through a diagnosis like this and you're told there's no time, a neurologist appointment alone is $450, around that price. Each test was $200 and something. And you're told you have to have these now. Hervey Bay community put all this money together and that's how we afforded it. Not only just the food on the table, the ability to be able to have these tests done and things like that. And oh, Dunga Derby. Now they were amazing. Dunga Derby rung us and they said, we are gonna pay your bills for a whole year. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of pressure. But it was pressure that just was taken away, that we could focus on what does our family need to do? What steps have we got to put in place? And it was the community that removed all of this extra strain off of us. Damian said to me, how do I thank these people? And I said to him, look, I know you're shy. I said, but why don't we make a Facebook page and we can do up a video and we can thank them. I said, and people can see how they've given to us and how it's helped. Maybe that's what we can do. Within about 48 hours, it had already reached 250 people. It just grew, didn't it? It grew and it grew. The amazing thing about that page was it started as a thank you. I want to show you what you've done and how you've affected our life, to it being this amazing support for everyone. Not just us, a support group for anyone struggling. And I'm not talking motor neuron disease, I'm talking about any form of person that was struggling could get on this page, and these beautiful people are just there to help everyone. It gives you hope. Sometimes when life deals you something so horrific, you can't change the situation. You know, when you can't say change, we do everything we possibly can and we'd hope for a cure. But when that's not there, you've got to try and find something positive to focus on. And our page is that. From what has come from this is the fact that Damian and Damian's journey and fight with MND, because it's not just us, it's nearly 13,000 people and it grows daily. 13,000 people that are going out there and helping others. With them, it pushes us to be able to travel Australia, make things happen, go and see different things. God, we even ended up going to the governor's house. These are the crazy stories that have come out with it, but because we share everything on this page. Neale Daniher, we met, yes, and of course he is our hero. He is inspirational. I don't know, you try and find another word bigger than inspirational, and God, if it's there, it is attached to that man. Even when you're sitting in front of him and he speaks through his machine, his glow on his face, the joy that comes out of his face when he speaks to people, is so far more advanced than Damian, and yet whenever he meets anyone, his face just shouts hope. Being a mum, being a parent, you automatically put your kids first. It's just how it goes. When we found this information out, people would ask me, you know, how's Damian, how's the kids, how are you? I would even shut them down and say, don't even ask how I'm. I actually don't matter. I would actually say those words. It was not until the stress, I was going days where I wasn't even eating. And I was so exhausted that I would go, oh my God, I haven't actually even ate today. I would be getting migraines and feeling so ran down. And it got to the point where I would actually burn out. And carer burnout is such a real thing. It can take you out for days. Mentally, physically, it's all connected. It was then when I was like, okay, it actually hit me. I can't care for them if I'm not 100% right myself. I need to do something, I need to fix this. You can't pour from a jug that's empty. You can't. You have to look after yourself. It would start off with any type of time that I could find, whether it was that first morning coffee, try and have that time on my own. Drives in the car, sometimes I didn't even have music on because just the silence. I was actually not well myself. I needed to have a hysterectomy. I'd been pushing for 10 years to have a hysterectomy. I was really, really sick. Damian used to have to take care of me. And that's when I was like, okay, right, the first thing I have to do is get my health in order. We had a very small window, about 3 months before Damian's, was gonna start getting a little bit more worse. And I had my hysterectomy, which took away most of the problems with my health, but it also made me realise, how important healthy eating is and looking after your body. But yeah, it's about trying to find time for yourself as much as you possibly can, because every person needs to be able to have time to breathe and process. One of the biggest things I found, it is okay to cry. Oh my God, it's okay to cry. In fact, it's so healthy to cry. I reckon it's every once a month I will have this thing where I know I can feel it, things start bottling up and I think, oh my God, I need to have a release. And I will just spend probably a whole night where I will just sob it out. Absolutely sob it out. But at the same time, I don't sit there and go, oh no, this is terrible or whatever. I actually know I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I have just released everything that's just built up and I'm ready to go again. You let it out. You have to release your emotions. You have to release, I go to the gym, I release my build up that way too. Surround yourself with people, friends. You gotta try and find a little bit of normal.
Some things that help me, I always just like to, if things get too much, I'll grab my fishing rods and go to the pier and just sit there, just catch fish, look out of the water, with my closest mate, and we'll just go there for hours and we'll just talk and everything sort of, same with on the bike when you're on it and when you're doing it, everything else just fades away.
Family, really, we're stronger than ever. We have our motto, which we've even got it tattooed on us, don't we, babe? Me and Damian have never had it easy, like I said, with our kids and their health problems. And again, their health problems you can't change, you can't cure. So it is. It's like, okay, We would get over one thing and another thing would hit, and it got to the stage where we were like, you stop asking why me, you just sit here and go, righto, get onto it, solved this one, and we would say, it's okay, we've got this. And it was, wasn't it? You know, the next event would come and you get to the point where you go, it's all right, we've got this. But we've got this because we're a team. Each and every one of us, the kids will step up. If they see one of us is struggling, you just step in. Positive mindset, 100%. 100% a positive mindset. Life can throw horrendous curveballs at you. Even though Damian suffers from motor neuron disease and he's tired and he's whatever, Damian has a don't give up attitude. You know, you've got to stick together. Oh, I can't do this alone, and neither can he. Even when he sees me struggle, he'll find a way, whether it's just a comment, a cuddle, you know? Even if he can't physically go in and take stuff away or take a load off of me. Mental health, well, we've always suffered from mental health our whole life. You've got to acknowledge it first. That is so true. Don't ever be embarrassed to ask for help. Don't ever be embarrassed to admit you have it. Nearly every person has been through something that they've had to struggle, that they've had to pull themselves out of. There's always someone in a worse situation. You've got to find something to hang on to. You've got to find positives in sometimes even the hardest situations where you think it's not possible. What drives you? Damian's motto, make every day count. Everything that helps people. Make the most of life. That's it, and that's what we do. We will hope for a cure, and we will fight for a cure, but sometimes that's not available. But it doesn't mean you give up. It means you've got to live life to the fullest and make sure every day counts, isn't it? Even if you can find one thing that makes you smile today, one positive. Try and laugh at least once a day. One thing that we are so proud of our page, this is going to be Damian's legacy, and we won't stop. We won't stop at all until you can walk into a doctor's surgery, walk out of a specialist and you're told you've got motor neuron disease and they say it's okay because we can do this, and I won't stop until that's done. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You hold on to each other because that is so important. You've really got to try and live for every moment from then on. You do find out that every moment is precious. Family time is so important. It really is. Like Damian says, each moment, each day has to count.
You gotta just take it as it comes. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know what could change until it does, and then, so you just gotta pretty much take every chance as you get it.
Bringing as much happiness and special memories as you can in that time, because that's what you've got. That's what you will have for the rest of your life, is those memories. And make every moment count. Before Damian got sick, you get stuck in this routine where you think you've got all this time in the world, and you go to work and you sit there and you say, oh, we'll take the kids to the park another day, or we'll do that holiday later. It's not like that. You know, when you get hit with something like this, you really realise how time is so precious. For anyone not even going through something like this, time is really precious. And making memories and spending time with your loved ones, it's not what you have, it's what you share with others, is what you are left with at the end.